All right, Jason. So the first story I've got for you is something that I think is maybe so ridiculous I couldn't have made it up if I tried. It's one of those too funny to not be true. In 1995, a man named Clous Schmidt attempted to rob a bank in Berlin. He approached the teller and brandished a pistol, demanding a bag be filled with cash. He's all good so far.
Seems reasonable. Sounds like a very sophisticated, smart criminal so far.
Well, at this point, he hasn't made many mistakes. The startled teller began emptying cash from the drawer and politely asked if he needed a bag for the money, to which Klaus replied, "You're damn right it's a real gun."
What?
Yeah. Huh? It was at this point the slightly confused teller realized that Mr. Schmidt was deaf. She then sounded the alarm, and police quickly arrived, arresting him without much of a struggle. In a strange turn of events, Clous Schmidt later tried to sue the bank for taking advantage of his hearing impairment.
But was it more than the amount of money he was trying to rob is what I want to know.
Wouldn't that be a great way to do it if he had it? Maybe he was smarter than everyone,
right,
and had that planned.
That's good.
Yeah, but literally from what I read, she realizes, or the teller realizes this, and is like, hits the not so silent alarm, and he's just got his gun there, and the police just kind of walk up and tap him on the. Gave up a little bit of a struggle, but
wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty epic in the dumb criminal landscape, I have to say.
I've got that one beat.
Okay,
I've
good.
got that one.
Keep going.
A man named Albert Bailey of Bridgeport, Connecticut, decided to rob a bank in March of 2010. He enlisted the help of a then 16-year-old cohort, which I would say is mistake number one.
Yep.
Mr. Bailey, make sure your bank robbery associates can at least legally buy cigarettes.
Or drive a car.
Or drive a car. Well, he's 16, he can. But Mr. Bailey, clever as he was, thought, who's got the time to sit around and wait for the teller to get the cash out of the register, to put it in a bag, to hand it over, all that stuff. Who's got the time? We're busy. We live in a busy world. So he thought up an ingenious plan. He called a branch of the People's Bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, and told them that he needed them to get $100,000 in large bills ready, and his accomplice would be there shortly to pick it up. He said if they tried any funny stuff, there, quote, would be a bloodbath. The bank teller, of course, initiated a lockdown, but waited until the 16-year-old accomplice was in the bank before locking the doors behind him. The young man handed the teller a note while another bank employee was speaking on the phone to the police. So he collected the $900 the teller gave him and then politely asked, can you let me out of the bank now?
Oh, my God.
The teller obliged. And when he exited the bank, police were waiting for him. He then tried to run, heading straight for the car where 27-year-old Albert Bailey was waiting. Of course he did. Goes right to him. And the two were arrested without incident. And a funny note, the robbers asked on the phone, or Bailey asked on the phone for a dye pack to not be put in with the money. I mean, he had this all planned out. And of course they put one in. When they were being arrested, one of them threw the bag of money and the dye pack exploded. So I would love to think that it ended up on them anyway, but I don't know that.
It feels like maybe they planned this. They were in like the McDonald's drive-through down the street and said, "Let's go rob a bank." Well, how do you want to do it? I don't know. How do you want to do it?
Yeah, kind of.
Like there was not a whole lot of either. There was planning and it was complete stupidity, or there was no planning and no one knew what the hell they were doing. I love the fact that the guy, like the young kid, runs right to the car.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite parts. Goes out from robbing a bank, sees the police there. That you had to have the woman unlock the door. The teller unlock the doors for you. So what's your thought process at that point? I'm going to get away with this?
Yeah, that's so crazy. And I lived in Fairfield for a number of years when I was running team at the internet team, digital team at WWE, and I think I was probably in that bank.
Probably, yeah. Fairfield's not that big. I forgot you worked with all them wrestlers.
Yeah, all those wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both were charged with first-degree bank robbery and threatening, and Bailey got 9 years for that.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. I got 2 more quick ones for you. 18-year-old David Zerflew was arrested, and you'll like this one, Jason.
Okay.
Was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving in Alberta, Canada, when his car was swerving all over the road. When he was pulled over, he tried to run, but was quickly caught. As he was sitting in the back of the arresting officer's patrol car, he reached down, ripped out the crotch of his underwear, and shoved it in his mouth, thinking, follow me here, thinking that if he ate it, the cotton would absorb the alcohol in his stomach and fool the breathalyzer machine.
Can I see a photo of this guy?
Yeah. Take a look at him.
Okay, so he looks like this is not good.
I love the smile. It's just, he's got kind of like this, that's me. Like this is going to follow me for a while.
That's a leap of all leaps to be so specific. Have you ever, like we've heard, theories of, if you go drinking, like put a penny in your mouth, a copper penny, but not just a piece of cloth, but the crotch of your underwear.
Crotch of your underwear.
Like as guys, that's nasty.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I was thinking initially, I was like, oh God, really? Why would you grab the crotch? But if you were going for the underwear, a piece of your underwear, that's probably the side you might want to go with, as opposed to. But anyway, either way, he chewed on it for a while before spitting it out. When in court, my favorite part of this, when he was in court, there happened to be a class of 11th and 12th grade high school law students from the William E. May Composite High School observing that day. The laughter was so intense from the students and others that the class had to be removed from the courtroom by the teacher. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Constable Peter McFarlane said there were people leaving the courtroom with tears in their eyes, trying not to laugh. And probably the highlight of this entire thing, this entire story, Zerflew was not charged with a DUI because he blew a .08, which was the legal limit.
Now, the real question is,
all for nothing.
Did it go down because he had the underwear in his mouth? Did it actually work? I think it might have worked.
Try it.
Sean, are you doing a search right now on the internet that says, does this work? And by the way, you may not be the only one hearing this that is now searching this. Is this urban legend? Is it truth? Is this the new copper penny?
It can't be. It can't be, because he didn't swallow. He was going to swallow the cotton, hoping it would absorb in his stomach, and he chewed on it.
Oh,
he didn't even swallow. Yeah, he chewed on the groin of his underwear.
I think
of his underwear.
Yeah, so maybe his tact was to chew it and swallow it and get so repulsed that you throw up and the alcohol come out of your system. Then
I don't know.
That's gross. That's gross, Sean.
This is what I bring to the table.
You don't seem that grossed out by it.
I think it's funny. I mean, it is gross, but
it's so great.
It's so funny to me. The things that people do when they're drunk, that you seem like a good idea in the moment. A 38-year-old man broke into an apartment in the Prati district of Rome through a door on the balcony. While rummaging around through the apartment, he stumbled across a book about Homer's Iliad on a bedside table. He then sat down and began reading it, becoming so engrossed in the book that he seemed to forget why he was there in the first place, which was to rob the apartment. The 71-year-old homeowner woke up and confronted the man, who then attempted to flee right back out through the balcony he had entered. He was arrested shortly after and told police that he climbed in the balcony to visit a friend. The man was arrested shortly after and told police that he climbed up the balcony to visit a friend. Right?
Yeah,
that's the way you do it. And he thought he ended up in an Airbnb, saw the book, and started to read it. That's his actual story. I went up to visit a friend and thought I was maybe in the wrong place. It was an Airbnb and just thought I'd read it.
I love that you took us overseas for this story too. Like it's Rome, Italy. It's Homer's Iliad. It's got a flair to it, right?
We're
Like that's
going
an
around the world.
It's an important book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's not actually that; it's about Homer's Iliad. But also,
Right.
but so the man was in possession of a bag of expensive jewelry and clothing stolen from another apartment nearby earlier that night.
Visiting more friends, right?
But this place, honestly, yeah, I stole that. But this, I was here for a friend.
Wow.
When the story came out in the news, it caught the attention of Giovanni Nucci, the author of the book titled The Gods at 6 o'clock, who offered to send the would-be robber a copy in jail so he could finish reading it. He said, and this is what I like best about this guy. He said, "It's fantastic. I'd like him to be able to finish the book. It's a surreal story, but also full of humanity."
Sounds like a PR plug for me.
I love it. I love that. He's like, "Wouldn't you?" I'm gonna plug the shit out of my book right now.
He's the smartest man in the room right there.
Yes,
like that
free
is
publicity.
That is genius.
Yeah. I got one more for you.
Okay.
This one may take the cake.
Okay.
In 2009, 23-year-old Matthew McNelly and 20-year-old Joey Miller attempted to break into an apartment in Iowa. For reasons unknown to anyone, instead of using ski masks or something else to cover their faces, they drew all over their faces with black marker, so no one would be able to recognize them. Now, when you hear that, I want you to get a mental picture. Everybody listening or watching, I want you to get a mental picture of what you think these guys look like before we show you, with having marker drawn all over their faces so that no one would recognize them. You guys,
Okay.
do you have that picture?
Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah,
and
okay.
It's worse than you think.
Yeah. Later that night, when they were arrested when the car they were driving was pulled over because it matched the description of one scene near the crime scene. They still had the marker all over their faces because the marker they used was permanent. Duh. And what do you think of this?
I mean, the guy, looking at the guy, it looks like he's trying to draw a Batman mask with permanent marker, but he's got a beard on the like. It's not even good. It's like this weird eyeliner look, and the other guy is just, it's a shit show, right? It is. It's like children scribbling between the lines, barely.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys must have been off the chain.
They didn't even do. Nothing's even. Nothing's like, it's not like they tried to do raccoon eyes or, to darken their eyes, or it's just like scribbling on their faces in such a random way. And I'm curious if that's
going to fool everyone, right?
Yeah. The guy's beard. I mean, you could just see, I've never met these guys, but if I saw them with that on their face, I could still then go pick them out anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you guys failed. That's the charges were eventually dropped as Judge Christopher Polking cited there was no evidence that the men had entered the apartment. Neither man had a weapon and no one was hurt. I also have to think part of that is these guys are going to get made fun of for this for a long time. No damage is done. Be on your way. Lesson learned.
Feeling sorry for him. I wonder by the time they showed up in court for this, how much of that marker was still on their face. You know, like I don't know how long permanent marker would stay, but there's a lot of scrubbing going on.
Yeah. You never did that with like a friend when you were younger? You were drinking and whoever passed out first. We used to do that stuff.
Oh, you draw on their face.
Oh, you draw all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Lewd things that their mother would not want to see when they, Yeah, it doesn't go away immediately, No matter how much you scrub, it's still there for a couple of days.
Yeah. And it could get pretty ugly if you weren't waking up. There's all kinds of things that could be drawn on your face or your body that you do not want to show up in public the next day.
No, you don't.
You might want to wear a ski mask.
Well, that's a couple funny little stories. Like I said, I think it's good every now and then to just kind of keep it light, and no one died in any of those stories, which is always a good day when no one dies.
I think we should do a lot more of these. We should have this should be an ongoing theme every once in a while. We pull out of storage.
I gotta say, there's probably no shortage of stupid criminal things that people have done.